look at that. We got a bunch in here. Well, I guess a bunch. I'm really surprised that the stream's holding so well. I'm looking at green everywhere. It's amazing. I'm really enjoying this. I thought it would be a really fun thing to do tonight is everybody jokes about how old I am, so I figured I would talk about my family history, some of my lineage, and yeah, it goes back quite a ways. Yeah, no fun about that, okay? There's no joking about how old I am. I know everybody thinks I'm ancient. Wow, we got some different people in here than normal, so that's cool. So I guess we are going to get things going. Let's go ahead and switch the camera around here so you can see my ugly mug. This is not going to be a 3-hour stream. I like that, though. That's funny. Time wasn't measured when I was born. Oh, my God, Kick, you really? Oh, my God, that's funny. It's funny, 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 funny. What did Kodiak say that I missed? Steve is over 2,000. No, I am not. I'm not that old. Three cheers for moon landing deniers. Guys, I'm not going there tonight. Hey, Bedros. Glad you could join us. Let me go and hit the chat here so I can see everybody we got in here so I can say my hellos. Okay, Tommy Bear. And Colt, Kick Ya, Andrew, Bedros, Kodiak, Goose, Sergeant Peterson, David is here. And Legionary is here. El Jefe, Natalia, my newest mod. And Kick Ya, that punk. Yeah, she's here. Cabby's here. Great White Bear is here. I hope I'm getting everybody. I hope I didn't miss anybody. Haven Wolf. Hey, hey. You know, I guess I'm going to talk about both sides today of my family lineage. Everything dies? Oh, really, Natalia? Come on now. Yeah, mods are temporary some places. What do you believe? Thanks for joining us. Well, okay, and I'm going to try. Please don't get mad if I'm not looking at the chats as much. Hey, Roy Bear. I'm sorry, man. Hey, Fred. Roy, yes, Roy is a Patreon, and I'm really excited about that. Natalia is not emo. No. Yes, Kick Ya was my first Patreon. Yep. NPC, how's it going? Okay, guys, let's look. I have a lot to talk about, so I'm going to get into this as fast as I can. I know, Natalia, you get misunderstood by a lot of people. Okay, I'm not going to look at the chats. I don't want to get squirreled. I have a lot to talk about. Okay. Now, we'll start off with my mother's side of the family because I don't have enough information to go back too far into, the 1800s. Okay. So let's go with my mother. Now, my mother's maiden name is Marcaccio, and she is full-blooded Italian, and she was. Let me see. My grandfather, here's a picture of my grandfather and my grandmother. To the left, of course, my grandfather, Louis Marcaccio. And, it's funny, my grandmother's, I'm not going to look. Oh, my God, I looked. Okay, my grandmother, whose maiden name is Sabetta, and her, let me see, I believe it was Teresa Marcaccio, because my mother got her first name as her middle name. My mother's name is Marie Teresa. So now my grandfather was born early 1900s, and basically he was I mean, it was before the Depression. Now, he had to leave school at 12 years old to support his family. So, he did odd jobs and worked his way up, learned carpentry, of course, and became a master carpenter and, retired that way. But I've heard some just terrible stories and about, things that my grandfather was able to, what he witnessed. And you wonder why I have issues with the Catholic Church. Now, I'm sorry, guys, if there are some Catholics in here. Look, I was Catholic. I was a Catholic school teacher, of course, and I found out I had Jewish roots, and I researched them and found out, of course, my grandmother on my father's side was Jewish. We'll get into that. But I was raised Catholic, okay? I was raised Catholic. And what the stories that I heard, now my grandfather, of course, used to pick up the trash and things like that, and working with the dumpsters behind one of the convents, he found the babies that were born and discarded. And it put a real bad taste in his mouth, as one would think. And what they were finding out is the parents that had children that got pregnant before they were married took them there. And depending on how much money they had, the babies were discarded and no one found out about them. Okay? And it's kind of sick to think about that. But also the nuns that got pregnant, their babies were discarded. Now, I didn't believe this for the longest time when my grandfather told me about this, but I found out later on, after listening to a seminar recording of this ex-nun. It was recorded in the 50s, and she talked about the exact same thing that I just explained. Exact same thing. So it made that credible. Now, my grandfather, you have to understand, his name is Louis Marcaccio. And growing up in the Northeast, in Rhode Island, a very, let's just say, organized influence. Now, I have some stories to say about my grandfather. Now, my grandfather's uncle was, for all intents and purposes, a hitman. He was a gunman for the mafia. And he used to hide the guns under my grandfather's bed. No, he wasn't a Jewish carpenter, legionary. That was... this is not the Jewish side of my family. These are Italians. Okay? Oh, gotta stay away from the chat. Anyway, so now I've heard the stories that my grandfather told me he used to hide the guns under his bed. And his uncle, of course, ended up dying, as most gunmen do for the mafia. Someone doesn't like them, found him in a bar, shot him, and killed him. That didn't seem to push my grandfather away. And my grandfather, because it was in his family, he trying to make extra money. He did bookings. You know, we'll call it Italian bookkeeping for the organized groups that he was involved in. And he was a bookie. And he made extra money on the side. Now, the funny story about that was my grandmother caught him because she didn't want him involved in that, because she saw the way, his uncle had gotten killed. Now, he said, okay, I won't do it anymore. She yelled at him, didn't want him to do it. And this is the story I heard. Now, what happened was, she caught him again. But this time, she broke a chair over his head. She got so mad at him. So, yeah, it's a funny story in the family about that. Yeah, she broke a chair over his head. She got so mad at him. Now, my grandmother died when I was very young. She was very, very early open heart surgery. We're talking 1972. Open heart surgery wasn't exactly prominent then. And she did die during the surgery. I was 5 years old at the time. Now, the funny thing about my grandfather, this all came full circle, and I understood. I didn't know how connected my grandfather was until later on. Now, you guys know, there was a time in my life when I did music very seriously. And I had an agent, he was Italian. His name was Anthony Ferro. Ferro, just so you know. I didn't say Ferrol. Ferro. Anthony Ferro. Italian. We got along well. He knew that, I came from an Italian family. So he owned a limo company and a concert production company and a small record label. And basically, he wanted to try to get me into the movie music industry. It's what I really wanted to do. So with him, we would go out to eat once a month, and we would hang out and discuss plans, things that we were going to do. We went to a place on Federal Hill in Rhode Island. Now, B. West knows exactly what I'm talking about. This place is called the Old Cantina. Okay, a very, very high class, restaurant. And we went in, and I'm like really nervous going into this place. And I said, Anthony, didn't someone get shot here? And they died in their spaghetti? Like, literally, that's where the whole joke came. The Italian dies in their spaghetti. He was shot in the back of the head, and his face fell into the, spaghetti. So, what amazed me, he goes to the maitre d', and he goes, hey, and he knows them. He knows all the guys there. He ate there a lot. And he said, and the guy's name was Antonio. It was funny because he didn't say Anthony, he said Antonio, and that was how you said it out of respect, Antonio. He goes, anybody die here in their spaghetti? And I remember Antonio looking at me with a little smirk on his face, and he goes, nah, well, yeah, just once, just once, just one time. And I'm like, oh my God. So we go and we get seated, we sit down, and I look over to my left, and there's a table full of 6, I think maybe 7 guys in all dark suits and everything. And I grew up around Italians on my mother's side, and how they dressed and how they looked. I mean, they were all Italians. I knew that, and I'm just like, these guys, you could see the look in their eyes. Something was up. These guys weren't just ordinary Italians. So Anthony I guess he knew one of them. So he said, Steve, he goes, what was your mom's maiden name? I said, it was Marcaccio. I told you that. And he's like, oh, yeah, okay. He goes, I want to go over there and we're going to introduce you to these guys. I want them to meet you. He goes, but we're going to, we'll just use they'll be nice if you tell them hey, this is Steven Marcaccio. And he said, Stevie. That's where I got the whole persona for my radio show, Stevie Marcaccio, when I did radio with my brothers, the comedy thing. Okay, so we walk up there, and he goes, hey, and everybody's shaking hands. He goes, I want to introduce you to Stevie Marcaccio. And one of the guys goes, and one of the guys, I'll switch it so you can see, and one of the guys goes, wait a second, Marcaccio? He goes, are you related to Lou? And I went, what? You mean Louis Marcaccio? And he's like, yeah. He goes, and I go, that was my grandfather. And they were like, your grandfather's Louis? And he's going, hey, this is Louis Marcaccio's grandson. Oh, come over here. And they were like, oh, wrap their arm around me. I'm like, oh my God. These guys all knew my grandfather, who had passed away maybe 2-3 years ago. Oh my God, it kind of freaked me out. So they knew who my grandfather was, and then they looked at me and they said, Steve, you ever need a favor? They started handing me business cards. You ever need a favor, you just call us. We'll take care of it. And I was scared to have that anything I wanted done. Of course, I would be in debt for the rest of my life. Anything I wanted done, these guys would have taken care of. It freaked me out. Hey, country gal, thanks for stopping in. So, that's one of the stories with my grandfather. Now, thanks, Eric. So, this guy, you have to understand, this guy was a master carpenter. He swung a hammer his whole life. You guys wonder why I do woodworking and I have a full wood shop? It's because of this guy, okay? When I was a little kid and we used to go over to his house, I used to listen in his garage, and he had his whole wood shop set up. And if I heard machines running, I didn't even go in the house. I went straight to the garage. And that's where I learned everything that I know today in woodworking from this man. And I'll never forget it. Now, I'm telling you, he was, okay? Into what? He was a master carpenter. He built most of the schools in the state of Rhode Island. This man did. Okay? And as tough as nails. I have stories about this guy. Let me tell you something. When he walked out to his car one day, now in 1986, he bought his first Cadillac. In 1986, he bought his first Cadillac. And he was coming out of a store, and there was a guy trying to break into the front. Well, he had already broken into the car. He was trying to get the stereo system out of the Cadillac. And so my grandfather quietly goes to the back of the car. He sees the guy in the front of the car. He goes to the back of the car, slowly opens the trunk, gets his shovel out, and goes up to the guy, and he goes, "Oh, you having some trouble there with the radio?" And the guy goes, Yeah, I'm just trying to change it." And he goes, I could do that faster for you. He goes, "There, let me get in there and help you out." This guy actually backs out of the car, and my grandfather just cold cocks him with the shovel right over his head. Then goes inside, calls the police. They come out and arrest him. So that's my grandfather. Tough as nails. Now, his son David, my uncle, who's passed away recently, he was the last one. He was the baby of the family, so he was raised tough. So this guy, my grandfather was driving home, and he hated when people all picked on one guy. So he sees 5 people beating the crap out of one guy. So the funny thing about it was he stops. He's going to help this guy out because he hates seeing 5 guys beat up on one guy. So he goes to get out of his car to help this guy out, and then he sees that it is his son, my uncle. He gets mad. He goes, "No way, one of my sons going to get beat up by 5 guys." So he goes and he yells to his son David. He goes, "If you don't kick the shit out of all 5 of those guys, you don't come home or you'll get it worse." So my uncle was more afraid of getting his butt kicked by my grandfather than those 5 guys, and ended up beating the crap out of him. So that's where, the stories that I've heard, and like I said, I've seen him. He was crazy that way, because one of my brothers called up and said that there were some people surrounding the house. He was at a friend's house, and they were threatening him from outside the house. So he called up me and my brother John. My grandfather was over there, and he was visiting. So I said, "Oh, we got to go." Said a little bit about what it was, and me and my brother John ran down the road. Now, my grandfather at the time, 73, 74 years old, my brother John and I are just getting to this house. It was a quarter of a mile away. And we're about ready to confront these guys, and my grandfather runs between the 2 of us. All 5'1" of my grandfather. And gets his hands on, he goes, "Who did it? Who did it?" And he grabs a hold of one guy. This kid's like 18, 19 years old, and just grabs a hold of him and hits him so hard in the chest when he just goes to grab that he knocks the wind out of the guy. And I heard words come out of his mouth saying that if he ever touched my younger brother, that they would disappear. So it made me laugh. So anyway, my grandfather died when I was in my 20s. He passed away from a heart attack. And like I said, he went out working. He was pouring cement in his backyard. God, 80 years old or something, pouring cement in his backyard. And he passed away, and, went on to see what I believe, my grandmother, who had died years before that. And, as far as I'm concerned, they're together now. And my mother tells me stories, about my grandfather. And I remember going into the house and seeing the projects he was working on in the house. Like, I learned how to lay floor tile from him. I mean, I learned how to do woodworking from him. Everything I know about working in my wood shop, I learned from this guy. And he's a phenomenal person. You know, he's tough as nails. He grew up in a hard time. He survived the Depression, and he supported his whole family, dropped out of school at 12 years old, and took care of the family. You know, not only do I respect him, but I'm proud of him, what he did. You know, and yeah, it's funny. My grandfather, I just saw the word crazy come up there from Nimmer, and yeah, if you saw my grandfather, you would think he was probably, especially if you saw him pissed. I mean, he didn't take crap from anybody. And people wonder why I'm the way I am. So anyway, let's go on the other side. But well, first, let's talk about the name. Now, Marcaccio, I wanted to go back a little further. Now, Marcaccio comes from the surname Marcus, which is actually Roman, from Sicily. Now, my great-grandparents came over from Italy when they were... my grandmother came over at 9 years old. And they switched it. It was still Marcus. Guys, no calling yet. It was still Marcus at the time when they moved over here, and it was switched to Marcaccio when they came over here, which is a name that's been around for a while, but on my family, it used to be Marcus. So, and I know this about my great-grandmother, that she was... Guys, I'm not answering the phone. I'll literally turn it off. So, I know that at 9 years old... right after they got here, she was actually kicked out of the house and had to... Oh, thanks, Eric. Yeah, right. Okay, guys, I'm turning off the phone for right now. So, because, I mean, I know if someone's not listening to me, if I say don't call and it's an unlisted number, it's a crank call. So the phone's getting turned off. So, yeah. Let's do that again, actually. No, when it comes back on, I actually restarted it. Anyway, so we went back. I told you, like I said, I don't know too much about the history before they came to America. My great-grandparents on my mom's side, because of the family was so broken up when my great-grandmother was thrown out of the house, like I said, at 9 years old. Okay, let's power this thing off so I don't get any more phone calls. Okay, let's see. There we go. Okay, so now let's switch over. Now we're going to go to my dad's side of the family. No, Eric, my call-in number is not the regular number for the phone, but everybody knows the call-in number. So, okay, now this is my grandfather on my dad's side, and my grandmother there. Now, her maiden name was Rodriguez. She is the Sephardic Jew. She did not know she was Sephardic Jew. I had to search her side of the family to find out. He didn't know. Now, there's probably a good reason that he didn't know. And now, if he didn't know, or maybe if he knew, he sure as heck wasn't going to tell his friends. And there's a good reason for that. Now, my grandfather here, on the right in the picture, was born in 1899, John Franklin Pinder Jr. the second. Now, his dad was born in... My great-great-grandfather, or my great-grandfather, I should say, was born in 1874. Let me get the dates here. I want to make sure that I got this right. Let's see. Hold on a second, guys. I have all my stuff here in front of me. 1876. Okay, yes. He was... Now, my great-grandfather was born in 1876 and, of course, died in 1934. Now, just before he died, 5 years before my dad was born. Now, my great-great-grandfather was born in 1845 and served in the Civil War from, I believe it was at the age of 16 when he was actually enlisted. Yeah, thanks, Eric. Yeah. Now, my grandfather here in this picture up on the screen died in 1976. I was 9 years old at the time when he passed away. Now, I remember him very well. And if you guys wonder why I smoke cigars, it's because of this man right here. Every time we would visit, and we visited every year to him in Florida. Every year. He always had a cigar in his mouth. His house smelled like cigars. And he fought on the side of the South, Eric, and I'm getting there, and you may not like the next thing you're going to hear. I told you about this. I told you weren't going to like this. Oh, Pedro's, yes. Now, like I said, think about this. Born in South Florida. This man here in this picture, born in South Florida in 1889. His dad was born in 1876. His grandfather was born in 1845 and died 3 years after my grandfather was born. He died in 1902. Now, my great-great-grandfather fought in the Civil War, like I said, at 16 years old, for the Confederate. Okay, now, let's go a little further. Now, I found out later, of course, I didn't know when oh my God, Eric, I can't even read your chats. I'm just going to cover them up right now. You're so bad. Anyway, now my grandfather was a racist. No surprise. Born in 1899 in Florida. His grandfather fought in the Civil War. My grandfather knew people that fought in the Civil War. They were much older, of course, when he was younger, but he knew them. So my grandfather was raised to be a racist. My grandfather, yeah, maybe, huh, Cam? My grandfather, well, they didn't own slaves, but my grandfather was a high-ranking member of the Ku Klux Klan. You sure you want to say that, Roy? He was a high-ranking member of the Ku Klux Klan. He would have been Grand Wizard, but his best friend was. Now, my grandfather told my dad when he was younger, you're not allowed to have black friends. My dad was like, whatever, and went ahead and had black friends anyway. My dad didn't agree with his dad, my grandfather. Didn't agree at all. Nope. Now, there's a story. Now, my grandfather was raised as a racist, but he sure didn't die one, and I'll tell you a story. Now, when my dad was going to high school, he went to a Jesuit high school, Catholic school, and what they did was they hired a black man as a janitor. And my dad always said that this man did not speak like someone that you would think that could only get a job as a janitor. Very well spoken. But at that time, in the 50s, early 50s, probably all he could get at the time. So the priest at the time told all the students, you are referred to this man as Mr. Robertson or Sir. And my dad went home, and it just happened to come out in a conversation with my grandfather. My grandfather found out, whoa, wait a second. My white son is going to have to say sir or Mr. to a black man? Oh, no, that will not happen. So my grandfather went to the school to confront this man and to tell him how his son... Yeah, yeah, nice, Eric. Yeah, and I got to cover this, so I can't look at that. And basically, he was going to go there and tell him how he wasn't going to be referred to as Sir or Mr. by his son. So he got there and walked up to this gentleman, and this gentleman put his hand out. Mr. Robertson, put his hand out to shake my dad's or my grandfather's hand. And my grandfather wouldn't shake his hand. And he just kind of tucked his hands in his pocket and started talking with him. And my dad said he was so embarrassed by my grandfather, and he'd never been so embarrassed by his dad before. It was terrible. He said he just cannot believe that his dad would do that. So they talked, and they kept on talking. And then all of a sudden, they started chuckling. My grandfather started laughing. And they were laughing back and forth. And my dad doesn't know. To this day, either he won't tell me what was said, or he doesn't know. But my grandfather, out of nowhere, just kind of shrugged his shoulders and said, and this is what my dad told me. He said, "Well, sir," and my grandfather was almost crying. Okay, and he said, "Sir," he goes, and he said, "Sir." You have to understand that he said, "Sir." He goes, when you stuck your hand out to shake my hand," he goes, "I didn't do that." Really, Eric? You bastard. I don't even want to look at you, freaking lying shithead. I can't believe you said that. So my grandfather stuck his hand out. He goes, "I wouldn't take your hand." He goes, "But would you take my hand and shake it now?" So they shook hands. My grandfather turned around, looked at my dad, and he goes, "You will refer to this man as sir and nothing other." And that's how it ended up. Now, my dad doesn't know what was said, but he knows this man was a war veteran from World War II. My dad thinks, and I'll have to check the last names of the Tuskegee Airmen, but my dad still thinks to this day that he was a Tuskegee Airman or part of the crew. So Eric, you're sick. Anyway, guys, my grandfather, and I know this had to be it because my grandfather respected any veteran like that. I mean, it was just one of those things. You have to understand. And I think this had to do with my grandfather, because my grandfather worked on a couple of big projects my grandfather was a radio man. He designed radios. And the only reason he didn't fight in the war is because he was what they call, he was hired as a citizen to work for the armed forces. And he developed radios, and he worked on the B-17 project. He developed the radio for the B-17 Flying Fortress guys, and also the PT boat. He helped develop the antenna, and just one of those, like, he worked, the antenna was the biggest thing that they were blown away by was the antenna my grandfather had invented for the PT boat. And I think this has to do with why my dad believes he was a Tuskegee Airman. Because the Tuskegee Airmen were famous for flying cover for the B-17 Flying Fortresses, and I think that's where they met on common ground, and I think that's where they made their connection. I don't know. That could be, like I said, I don't know. That might be it. Oh, God, Nimmer, really? Man, these jokes are old, dude. Come on, man. Think of something new. Be original. Come on, man. Be original. Come up with something new. Okay. Anyway. Crazy. Okay. Anyway. That is my grandfather. My grandfather died in those jokes are older than me. My grandfather died in 1976. And, like I said, I remember talking with him. But, after that, he never told me about anything like that. I heard later. After that incident with that gentleman at the school, my grandfather threw out his cloak, threw out his white outfit, never ever went to another meeting, disavowed himself from the KKK. Okay? And I think that takes a lot, especially in the time that it happened in the 50s. There was a whole lot of racism and segregation going on back then. He just needs some white person to thank him for his service. Too funny. Well, guys, look, I did all that in 36 minutes. Normally, we're on the phone calls by now. I'm going to tell you right now, guys, just so you know. When you call in, if I do not see a phone number, because we did get a crank call last time, guys. If I do not see a phone number, okay, I will... No, I said he threw out the robe. He actually burned the robe, Nimmer. Really? He threw out, I was told he burned it, but my dad says he threw it out. Okay? So, guys, if I do not see a number, if it comes from an unknown number, I am not going to answer this. Last time we got a crank call from some idiot. And if you crank call, I'm just going to turn you off. So, phone lines are open, guys. Let's get that done. There we go. Phone lines are open, and we're ready to go. It's probably in my closet. Oh, my God. You still have your robe? Yeah, I got to tell you a story. One of my best friends from high school, where I went to school in Rhode Island, Pontiac High School, the only black kid in the whole school, his name was Jeff Tanner. Good friend of mine. And think about this. The only black kid in the whole school. What does he dress up for Halloween to school? He comes walking in a Ku Klux Klan outfit. The only black kid in the entire school. Comes walking in a Ku Klux Klan outfit, and the vice principal, Mitchell, comes running out of the office when he sees him. I've never seen the man move so fast. Pulls the hood off of his head, and there's Jeff Tanner turn around with his big smile on his face. He's like, "Hi, Chief," because that's what we called him. We called him Chief. He was a Narragansett Indian. So... And he just shakes his head when he sees that it's Jeff Tanner. And he's just like, "Jeff, just for the rest of the day, please don't put the hood on. Don't put the hood on." Okay, let's take the first phone call. Who do we got on the air? Oh, God, it's Eric.
Yeah, shut up, Pinder. Damn. Damn.
Why, you didn't want me to you didn't want me to say who it was? I saw your name
because I started calling, but I do think that I know how that black kid got away with dressing up as a Klanman. Like, I'm pretty sure that black people invented the Klan, and then their white asses stole it from us. Like, he was the first one. Because I mean, if you were in high school, this had to be in what?
So
13, 14?
okay. So you're saying that because they wanted to establish their or keep their victim mentality after slavery, that they invented the Klan and false flagged themselves to keep the victim mentality and status going. Is that what you're saying, Eric?
Oh, no. You're misunderstanding.
No. I'm reading into this, brother. Okay, but you go, continue.
I think that your old ass was just in high school during the language of the birds, and this black guy was like, "I'm gonna do something cool. I'm gonna be different. I'm gonna wear white sheets. Have you ever been to Jamaica? Niggas love wearing white linen. So he was just rocking his white linen suit. And white people were like, we need to take that from black people. And then they made it a hate thing. Because, of course, they did.
Really?
That's how it happened. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Why would somebody, the Klan wasn't even invented, really, when you were in high school. Come on. Stop lying to people. Stop lying.
Dude, I graduated in 1985, not 1885, 1985.
I know. Oh, I agree with you. I agree that it wasn't 1885. But I also have seen your birth certificate, you fuck. So, I know you're lying.
It says 1967, not 1767.
No, if you, actually, a lot of people know about it. It's a famous historical document. You know how when Moses came down from Mount Sinai, and he smashed the original tablet? It's because they spelled your name wrong. That was your birth certificate, bitch. That was it. I'm positive. You fucking fossil.
Oh, you fucking asshole. Oh, shit. Yep. Yeah, so...
Yeah, and I just want to I wanted to call in to make sure that you know that, like, people kept asking me, like, oh, are you still cool with Pinder? I was like, bitch, I haven't been online on my own shit. So if I call in to Pinder, people should know, like, that Semper Fi shit is real. Always faithful.
Why are
Gang.
why are people asking if we're the whole you still cool with Pinder? Really?
Well, because people have asked me if I'm a Nazi. People have asked me, do I think we went to the moon? People have asked me a bunch of stuff. And I was like, I feel like
who gives a shit?
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, everybody that asks me any of these things, though, all I ask them is, bitch, who am I? Like, if you know anything about me, it's like, oh, do you think I'm the one that would just go along and get along? Or am I just gonna be Nimmer? Like, nothing changed for me. Like, I don't understand.
Well, because
I don't understand people.
Well, because I'm half white and I'm half Jewish, my half
nobody's
half
perfect.
I know my half white side wants to thank you for your service.
Gross.
You know, my privileged white side. My Jewish side says fuck you, but geez, you know, my privileged white side.
My black side wants to fight your white side, and my black side also wants to know, like, ask your Jewish side if you know Drake. So, so I'm kind of at a crossroads.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
and honestly, to be real, even if I hated you, I would keep this up for appearances because I really like your wife and your kid. So, like, I would suffer through talking to you, you old fuck. Because they're really nice people. They're really like I mean, like clearly like fuck you.
So you would suffer through hanging out with me just because you So you think my son and my wife is cool? Yeah. Well, that's only because my wife thinks you're funnier than Owen. That's why.
Well, I mean, facts, but and she can make bread. That's great, and she's gorgeous and she's nice and she's really caring because she has sex with really old, disgusting things. That's only out of the kindness of her heart. Like, that's some Mother Teresa level shit. She's a saint. She is a saint. I love her for that. That's inspiring to me. It's inspiring.
It's a freaking shit. I can't even say shit to that because I'm like, fucker's right. He's right. What the hell?
You know why? You know why you can't say anything to that?
It's true.
Because before I ever met her, that's how you described her to me.
Because it's true. I mean, you know how many times I've sat there across the dinner table, looked at her, and just went like, how the hell did this happen?
Money, Pinder. Money.
You know I am not rich. I mean, I had to scratch
and that until you got her, like, you trapped her into signing the.
Oh no! Now I'm gonna put you on the spot because I'm gonna tell you something that's gonna prove that it ain't about money. Okay. When we first started dating, I was working at an advertising agency out of Dallas. The advertising agency closed its doors, and within 2 months, yeah, you always have a comment, you bastard. Closed its doors in 2 months. Okay, I had nothing. I had no work, no nothing. I lost my apartment. I had to move in with my wife and her mom. Okay, you know how embarrassing that is? She had to make one of my car payments at the time until I started at another advertising agency. And she stayed, even without any shekels. I don't want to ever hear it's because of the money.
Oh, no, you misunderstand.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Come on.
You're senile. No, when I say the money, I don't mean the money you possess. I mean in your life insurance policy. You can only pull off this forever age thing for so long. You're gonna drop dead, like any minute now.
Wait a second
any second. Like, honestly, you're about 30 years past covering the spread. Like, you're like
she ain't gonna get that much when I croak. I'm just saying. I mean, she's not gonna get that much.
Do you remember the Anna Nicole Smith thing?
Yes, I remember it. Yes, yeah. I remember hearing the comments after I left the green room.
basically did that and took it to the extreme because she was like, I bet I can go twice as old.
Every time you call, it gets on my. Why does it always gravitate towards my wife? Is it so much easier to make fun of that? I mean, oh my god.
Oh well, it's because it kind of boxes you in a corner. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of cheating. So it just makes every one of these jokes a backhanded compliment. You can't really refute it fully because all I'm doing is saying how brilliant and gorgeous your wife is.
Well,
so
yeah,
they're all digs at you. But if you defend any of it, then I'll be like, oh, God, what are you trying to say, Pinder? The catch-22.
Yeah, it is. I can't. But the funny thing is, there's nothing you've said that I haven't thought, like, what the hell? Okay, here's one.
Well, no,
okay,
like,
no, you're going to laugh. You're going to laugh.
If I were to go the route of saying, like, your son's so great, I'm so happy he doesn't take anything after you. Like, he's the greatest kid in the world. Because then you have to go, wait, no, fuck you, man. My kid's not that great. Or, like, you have to,
no.
There's nothing you can do about it. You just got to take it.
Yeah, huh? Yeah, Gavin's a pretty cool
also,
son.
that example was 100% true. Your kid's amazing. And, yeah, comparatively, you suck.
Oh my God! You know something? Me and Kikya were talking about this the other day, and I have my my long jollet, my here in the back and all this, and I said, my wife was talking to me. She wants to cut it the other day.
Wait, did you just say jollet?
Yeah, we call it a Jew mullet. It's a jollet. You didn't know that? Okay. Anyway, yeah, it's called a jollet.
You know what's funny? Because you know what I would call that?
What?
But that's because, I hang out with a bunch of Nazis. I would call it a wick.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Anyway, I'm just gonna go past that. Yeah. So we were talking about the fact that my wife wants me to cut it, and I said, I don't know why she wants me to cut it. She's never complained about it before. Then Kiki and I started talking, and we're like, oh my God, she's Delilah and I'm Samson. I'm screwed.
Oh shit.
See?
Oh, well, see, I mean, luckily you're like weak as fuck to begin with. So
really? You fucker, you think so? I'm going to tie you in a friggin' knot next time I see you.
Yeah, thank God you can't see worse shit. But no, like, it's funny because my theory as to why she would complain about it now is why I always worry, like, my friends that I know the longest or the ones that, like girls, if you date them for a while, if they tell you something that hasn't changed since you've met them, it's like, oh, you just love me enough now to finally be comfortable to be honest. Thanks. like she's probably felt this way the whole time, but that kind of insecure, like, oh, I don't want to hurt him. He loves me.
No.
I don't want to rock things, and I don't want to get left. And now she's just like, look, man, leave if you want. Fuck you. I gotta tell you.
No, we joke about my hair and the length of it in the back and all that, and I said, look, I'm going through a middle-age crisis. I don't have any up front, so I want to grow what I can out the back.
You went through your middle-age crisis in the Middle Ages. Shut up, Pinder.
Jeez. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually made a joke today that made me laugh until I cried because it made everybody else all upset. Like I was talking about like just things that stress me out, and I've been on email on the internet and shit. Yeah, I know. I noticed it too, bitches. Shut up. But I don't know if anybody in the chat is talking about it. But yeah, I got all email, and that's why I haven't been screaming or anything else. I still feel it. And I was telling him, I was like, oh shit, maybe I'm just doing this whole midlife crisis thing. And somebody was like, you're 29. And I looked at him and I was like, you're right.
Don't lie, Nimmer. You've been 29 for 3 years.
No. I was like, I'm 29. And they were like, you think that's your midlife? And I was like, you're right. I'm a nigger. That's like 3/4.
Yeah, when that hypertension sets in and diabetes, you're screwed. No.
Yeah, so like, dude, the fact that I still got all 10 toes.
Yeah.
Yep. So ahead of the curve.
Yeah. Holy shit.
I will say this, though. I will consciously and willingly get diabetes and die from it at an early age if it means I can be a tenth as funny as Patrice O'Neal.
Oh my God, he was friggin' hysterical. Holy jeez.
Whenever I think of black people and diabetes, he always comes to mind, and I just get pissed.
Well, look how bad Lisa
rest in
Lampanelli
peace.
and friggin' what was the other one that went after him at that roast? I mean, just friggin' said some sick things.
Yeah, and then he got up there and killed.
Oh, he just tore them apart. They were wishing to God they never opened their mouth after that.
Oh, I loved it. And then he killed Shatner. He destroyed Shatner.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, such good. If anybody in the chat, if you guys are listening, Patrice O'Neal is one of the greatest comics of all time. And everybody has tried to hop on his wave, and it's hard to do. Like, Patrice O'Neal, but everybody, when they try to say, like, red-pilled, and if you're doing this, or if you're woke or not, he was the one that set the standard for all of it. Like, the comics going on, like InfoWars and kicking it.
Yeah.
Patrice O'Neal was the first one. Patrice O'Neal went on there. He went on Fox News. He didn't give a damn. He went on everywhere.
Yep.
And he spoke his mind, and he didn't care. Patrice should be respected as, like, one of the patron saints of comedy, because he did everything for comedy, and that's where he left it. He didn't care about political affiliations. He didn't care about your feelings. He didn't care about political correctness. He made fun of a feminist to her face on the news.
Oh,
and
yeah.
if you watch it, it's one of the greatest things ever. He destroys her, but he does it all in the name of comedy.
Yeah.
So rest in peace, Patrice.
Well, I would put him in the top 10 of all time, maybe top 5, but top 10 for sure.
I would. Ooh, that's
top 10.
It's funny because whenever I get into this argument with people, or when people ask me, I go, "All right, are we doing personal list? Am I doing most influential? Am I doing the most technical? Or am I doing funniest?" Because all of those people are great for different reasons, and that list changes. Like, there's people who'd be like, "Oh, stand-up wouldn't exist." Like, if it wasn't for Lenny Bruce, Owen, like Lenny Bruce, if you actually go back and everybody talks about him because of the legacy, and they know the stories and the hero tales of Lenny.
Yeah.
But if you go back and you listen to a lot of his sets, which I've listened to a lot of his sets, well, the ones that they recorded or you can get a hold of, and you'll be like, "Oh, some of this stuff was hilarious. Some of it was just off and just out there. And there was some of it where you're like, dude, what are you even saying?" It was like, "Oh, you're saying this just to piss everybody off and get arrested so you can kind of put a foothold in for us to do comedy." Like, that's dope. Yeah, no. And I was like, oh, and that's why, in my phone, Owen is winning.
Well, I got, this phone has rang 10 times since you've been on here. Everybody's bugging to get on the phone. So, if you want to...
shut up. I'm famous. They don't... What? They don't matter. That's insane. Yeah, what? No, that makes me want to stay on longer. This is my interview now. It's my show. I don't care. Yeah, I don't care. Tell them all shut up. Stay in their YouTube lanes. That's where they belong. It's lonely up here at the top,
Let's see.
But I rappel down and I wave to them. They should be happy about it.
Okay, let's see. Warface, who is mayor, put up Lenny Bruce, Don Rickles. Oh, definitely Don Rickles. Red Fox.
Oh, Don Rickles is great, too.
Cosby
Red
Pryor,
Fox, yes.
Steve Martin, George Carlin, Sam Kinison, Bill Hicks.
Another name I want to add to that list of the provocateurs that it came up recently, Bernie Mac.
Oh, God, yeah.
If you go back, Bernie Mac is hilarious, but if you go back, he would get destroyed for everything he said. If Kevin Hart couldn't host the Oscars, they wouldn't let Bernie Mac watch the Oscars based on half of his sets. If that's the standard, yeah. But funny is funny. You don't get offended if it's funny enough. So if people get real mad at you, that means your joke wasn't strong enough. Because Bernie Mac, Eddie Murphy, they said every word you are not allowed to say in the craziest way possible.
Oh,
but it's so funny that you don't even pay attention to it.
Yep.
Yeah, it gets nuts. But anyway, yeah, go talk to somebody else, I guess. Whatever.
Well,
but you're welcome. I made your show worthwhile.
You made my show worth. I think my show was pretty interesting before, man. I'm just saying.
No. I mean, it was good, but this was the Obama stimulus package for your show.
Someone just said Amy Schumer is funnier than this caller. Oh, that's just Oh,
Amy Schumer is funnier than that's a joke in and of itself.
Okay.
The idea of saying Amy Schumer is funny is sure.
Yeah. Funny looking,
Sure.
maybe, but yeah, okay. Anyway.
Not even that. It's just sad. All right, bye.
How the heck did that happen? No, I'm not answering a phone call if it's an unknown caller. Who the heck timed out who? Oh, okay. What the heck did he say? I didn't even see it. Oh, hold on. We got another call coming in. Hello, who do we got on the air?
Hey, what's going on, man? Man, that last kid could really talk, huh?
What's up?
What's up with that Vincent Price laugh?
Who's Vincent Price laugh? Was that mine?
Yeah, you know Vince. You don't remember?
Yeah,
Vincent
I remember
Price?
Vincent Price. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a kid that
according to Nimmer, according to Nimmer,
Dracula.
Nimmer would say I knew him as a kid. So.
Yeah, no, you look like a guy who knows a lot of kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah, thanks.
No, what I'm saying is you look like one of those teachers that didn't actually ever molest anybody, but everybody said they did. You know what I mean? You look like the first and the last guy that show up to an orgy. You look like the first guy they arrest in an SVU episode, but it's not actually him. You know what I mean?
No, that's funny.
Yeah, you look like a divorced air traffic controller.
I don't know about that. Never wanted to be that. Come on, give me another one.
So, I don't know, man. That was a couple. I mean, I banged out a few. Those are pretty good. I'd have to come back. I'll come back to the drawing board. I'll come harass you later.
Okay, man. Okay. Oh, this caller is so much better, huh? Well, we've had a lot of new names in here that I don't think I've ever seen before. Surprising. How's it going, Boulder? And, let's see here. EXE Cutie. And let's see, who do we got here? Hey, who do we got on the air?
Hey, man, what's up? What do you think about furries, bro?
What, my 30s?
No, furries, motherfucker. Listen, get the shit out of your ears.
Yeah, and we can just say goodbye to that douchebag. Bye. Anyway, this is what happens when you accept phone calls in like this. Let's see if we get another one. We're just going to have some fun. Who do we
Hello?
got? Hey.
Hey, what's going on, man? I have a question.
What's that?
So, how would you feel about a black man advocating for white ethno states?
A black man advocating for white ethno states?
Yeah, man, they deserve it. They gave us everything, man. Those black people out there saying F white people, they just taking advantage of a system that's been set up for them so that they could succeed. Slavery has empowered the black man, brought the black man all the way to America.
Well, I think some people would say that. Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
would
so
say
blacks have benefited from slavery.
It kind of depends. I don't know if it's... I guess you could say they may have in some, and not in others. Maybe they were held back longer. I mean, let's face it. If they had stayed in Africa, what would have happened?
They'd be living in mud huts. We'd all be living in mud huts.
Well, do you think that you think it would be that nothing would have
Oh,
happened?
it'd be bad. We'd be living in a shithole.
I don't know about that
It'd be
because I don't know.
Oh, you know we can't do anything for ourselves. We need to leech on the white man's titty.
Well, that would be your own perception of yourself. I know plenty that.
Well, I've had to leech on the white man's titty. I'm on welfare. My EBT card got more than yours.
That's because I'm working.
All right, well, more.
Yeah, okay. This is what happens. And let's do this. Like I said, if I don't see a phone number, I'm not answering it. Oh, no. No, I don't think so. But, I mean, it's just when you... And I'm going to turn this off for a second because I'm not going to answer any phone calls for a minute here. So, just so you know. There we go. We're going to turn that off. Okay. Guys, this is what happens when you leave someone else's stream because there are a bunch of Nazis on that stream and a bunch of white supremacists and anti-Semites, and you say it out loud why you're leaving in the stream, and you're not going to be involved in that stream anymore. This is what happens. Assholes and really ignorant, stupid morons call your show. This happens. But I don't have to answer the phone. I put the phone up there so we could have a decent conversation. What's going to happen is eventually the only people that are going to get the phone number are my patrons from my Patreon account. That's it. Because if this stays this way, we're just going to have to nip it in the bud. I mean, I have no problem with not doing phone calls. I did phone calls because I liked the conversation. Okay? I enjoy the conversations, but there's going to come a time, if this gets any bigger than what it is, that we can't do that. Trevor, I mean, like, there are some people, guys, there are some bears that have my regular phone number and not just that call-in line number. You know, and that's awesome. And if I have to deal with complete morons like this, that's no problem. I mean, there's a reason why I left the other stream. I didn't even want to talk about this tonight. I have a burner line, and that's the one that's up there on the screen. That's not my regular phone number. See, Eric, he calls in, and it doesn't even have to be about the topic. Once I get done with my topic, you don't have to call in and talk about the topic. I mean, God, how many times have we gone off on, on a tangent in some direction or on some rabbit hunt somewhere, and yeah, we go off. And yeah, once the subject's over, guys, you can talk about anything you want. Look, you can be an anti-Semite all you want. You just won't be one here. That's all. Nah, these trolls aren't getting me mad. I'm just like, but they're not gonna get a phone number. There are people that know me personally. I probably know 80% of these people in this call right now, or in the chat. At least 80% of them I know. So, I mean, yeah, so we deal with complete idiots. And, yeah, we do this over and over and over again. This is because, see what happens? Scumbags will follow you everywhere. So, we're just going to... Guys, when you see someone make a comment like that, just time them out. I have mods for that reason. You guys are awesome. And you're a mod for that reason. I left another stream because I don't need to be around a bunch of people that, hate my Jewish heritage. I mean, really. It's childish. I mean, think about it. Your life is that sucky that you would rather come into a stream and do this because you don't even have the faculties to go home and toss off to the internet. This you would rather do instead of that. That is pathetic. It's pathetic. If this gets you off, there are plenty of channels you can go to, buddy, because you need help. You can multitask, Cam? Oh, that's too funny. Wait a second now. Why haven't I done this before? God, Cam, you've been around for God knows how long. Jeez. I should have done that a while back, Cam. I need to earn the dislikes? Yeah, okay. Guys, the ones that know my number, you know, I don't think I'm going to take... No, I ain't going to do that, Trevor. No, not a chance. No, but there's a couple of people that have been around for a long time. And guys, I'm kind of going through the chat right now, so just hang on. No, Cam, you didn't go insane with power, but when I started off, everybody was a wrench, and I had to kind of tone that back a little bit. So yeah, there was a wrenching, I guess. No, you don't need to pledge me anything. Yeah, that happens, Air Bear. We've had it happen before where you get a bunch of jerks call in. And like I said, this was all because I made it very known that I didn't want any part of this. And thank you, Warface, for taking care of that. Judge Legal Latino, I am a Zionist. I believe that Israel deserves to be a country and deserves and needs the ability to defend itself. That is a Zionist. Unapologetically a Zionist. I don't know if I would call them weird, but the majority of what we're dealing with here are it's funny. You know, it's like, wow. All because, this happens all because I left another stream and told a bunch of people that I will not have any part of that stream because I don't need Nazis around me. I don't need anti-Semites around me. Yeah, you know, Richie Bear, when I did radio, of course, we had a 4-person crew. And calls were screened and all that. And yeah, see, I don't have that ability right now to screen calls. And what's going to happen is I'm going to have people start emailing me before the show. And we're going to schedule calls, okay? I mean, if this is what's going to happen, you're just not going to be able to call in and start with your garbage, okay? Imagine the smell in what room, Catalin? You're talking about my snake room? It's very clean, actually. This is my computer room, my snake room, and my gun room. But thank you for playing. Come again. Oh, you have a bearded dragon goose? Yeah, I have one of those. Well, yeah, reptiles can be. You really have to keep them clean. You have to keep the containers clean because, I mean, they crap like a dog. Haven Wolf, there's actually 3 ball pythons right down, if you can see where I'm pointing, there. when you go up above over there, up on top, there is a small reticulated python. And right over here next to me is a red-tailed boa. Now, in the back on the bottom is a Kenyan sand boa. The one on top is a jungle carpet python. Now, the ones that I have out in the other room are the big ones. These guys, the biggest one in here is probably 6 feet long. Now, the ones that I have out in the other room, I have 2 retics and 1 Burmese and 1 green tree python. And those, I mean, the green tree python, of course, is kind of small. I mean, it's maybe close to 5 feet long. But both the retics are 8, closing in on 9 feet. And the Burmese is a little thicker. It's a heavier snake. It's about 8 feet long. Hey, who blocked wolves? Ghost Hoss, let me tell you something. I would like to do another show on that because the next time I'm going to do it, I am going to have a police officer in here, and we're going to talk about the pros and cons of this. But I just don't think it's a good idea to do that today. I mean, I would love to talk that with you. And Ghost, maybe we can have you as a guest on someday, and we can just discuss that if you have a lot of information. Why don't you go ahead and send me an email, and you can find it in the description. Steve@txsheepdogs.com. Send me an email and talk to me about what your ideas are, and then I can formulate the show around what your ideas are, and we can do that. But yeah, I would love to talk about that again. That's one of my favorite subjects. Andrew, I'm kind of spoiled when it comes to the letter of the law because all the new laws that come out, they go to the police department in a pamphlet, and my friends always give me a copy of it. So I get all the new laws, the gun laws especially, every year. Ghost, yeah, pros and cons of open carry. Open carry, you're faster on the draw. Absolutely faster. But if you concealed carry, you don't have to have a strap on the top of your holster. Which, because of strap, there's 2 motions now to get that strap off. Well, depending on the type of holster you carry. Some of the Glock holsters, it's basically you crimp the gun a little bit in it, it pops right out. So yeah, it really depends on the type of holster. And there are open carry holsters and there's concealed carry holsters. So that's really cool. You can, like the holster that I have is generally a concealed holster. And I don't have it with me. It's actually out on top of the refrigerator. The ones that I have here in the room with me, this is, I would consider that an open holster. Okay? But, you know, because it's got a nice strap on top, although it's not fast on the draw. Surprisingly enough, the fastest holster I have on the draw is actually this one. You know, there is, you can see it right there, the little leather strap that holds that. You know, my finger flips that right off and you pull it right out. It's just not a fast gun to fire because it's single action only. Well, I believe that, this is why I tell everybody, guys, if you've seen my streams, a lot of times at the end I tell you, do not just get your license to carry your gun. Get tactical training and physical training so you can retain that weapon. I don't carry opened unless I am in a restaurant. Then once I sit down in my seat, I like booths because I can turn sideways and no one sees my gun. And I like to pick my spot where I'm going to sit so I have my back to a wall and I don't have the entrance behind me. And once I'm in that position, my shirt comes over the top of my gun and then my gun is open because I want to be able to draw it as fast as I can if need be. Yeah, like I said, I generally only conceal carry until, like, if I'm on my farm, then I'll open carry, or if I, like I said, go to a restaurant or a place where I'm sitting down for a long period of time. Yeah, force on force training with airsoft guns is awesome. Yeah, I would definitely get into all that. Hey, great dude, thanks for stopping in. We got a few more minutes to go here. We had some fun taking some phone calls earlier, but I pretty much think, let me get closer to this mic. I pretty much think that that's not going to happen. Like I said, some people took offense to me leaving the other day on another stream, and they weren't too happy about it, so they decided to follow me here. It's kind of pathetic. Oh my God, Kim, really? Too funny. Well, Ghost, yeah, of course I'm going to let you know, and then you can call in and we can talk about that for sure. Oh my God, Boulder. Guys, we're closing in. I'm going to shut this down in an hour at an hour and a half. We're in an hour and 17 minutes. I'm very happy that the stream is held for the most part for this whole time. I am getting my new computer in tomorrow, and if I have everything up and running, I'll try to do a test stream on Sunday, and I think that's when we'll do our little Christmas stream. No, like I said, it'll be one of those things where it's set up, and I'm going to, because it'll show your phone number when you call up. So if you tell me your phone number before then, and I don't see that phone number on the caller ID, I'm not answering it. So I'll know it's you. Wait a second, I didn't make you work for this wrench. You look, you worked as a wrench holder today. The snake behind me, oh, that's the green, no, that's the that's the panther, or the jungle panther carpet python. So that's, yeah. She's a cantankerous little snot. Let me tell you, that's one of the snakes we just don't hold. She's just a jerk. Every time you hold her, she just wants to take a chunk out of you. Total jerk. Yeah, the trolls were strong tonight. Yeah, well, like I said, I told people the way things were in that other stream, and they didn't like it. Okay? Oh my God, really? Do I have to take a snake out of the container so you guys can see it? Is that what I have to do? Yeah, you guys were stronger. No, Natalia, you haven't been a troll in forever. Although I haven't seen you put NFN up yet. I'm getting withdrawal symptoms. You haven't did the hashtag NFN. Come on, let me see it at least once. Hey, Hawk. We got about 11 more minutes left. Where you wrenched the shit out of them, yeah. There we go, Natalia. There we go. NFN is in the house. Oh, that's nice. Because she spreads fake news now? Oh, God. You guys are crazy. I wasn't banned on the other stream. I just spoke my mind. That's all. Jake the Snake. Did you see the interview with him on Joe Rogan when he was talking about the stuff that happened with his snakes when he would travel with them? The cobra escaped so many times. Oh, too funny. Yeah, see, I think something tells me either it's because of what I said the other night, or they followed Nimmer here. Yeah, Joe really let him just talk. It was a really cool interview. Oh, Hawk, you missed all kinds of trolls in here. I had like 2 or 3 crank calls. People pretending to be black, calling in the show. What kind of streams am I listening to? Well, there's a really cool one at my farm. It makes a nice sound when it bounces off the rocks. Joshua! Dude, you stopped in. How's it going, man? Oh, see, Cabby and Joshua would get along great. They both love feet. I swear to God, Joshua did a stream the other day, and it was about him and his feet. It was... I have nightmares, Joshua. We talked a little bit, just because of one question, Hawk, about open carry. That's all. Basically, the stream earlier was about my grandparents on both sides of the family, and I basically discussed my family lineage and, the good and the bad. Yeah. So you got one side good, one side bad, and then the ugly. Am I a fan of knives? Yeah, I have a couple of good ones. Guys, what do you mean am I a fan of knives? Cam, did you see my dare butchering episode? I butchered a dare with a Bowie knife. Okay? I butchered a dare with a Bowie knife. Trust me, I love knives. No, I'm not going to talk about... Oh, no. Okay, guys, go watch Joshua Hayes' channel. Go over and watch it. I hope he kept that episode up. Joshua, did you keep that episode up? Please tell me you kept that episode up. I'm not going to ever look at it again because I still have nightmares, okay? But Joshua, if you're still here, go to his... I want to know if it's still up. Yes, Josh has got a foot fetish. Oh, you delete... Dang it! I wanted them to see that. Okay? That was the funniest damn episode I have seen in God knows how long. I told you I spit my coffee out on my computer monitor at work, and everybody's trying to figure out what just happened. No, it wasn't the stream with the pasties. No. That was F-Bomb's stream. No, this was Joshua's stream. Joshua did a stream where, oh my God. I'm reliving it right now. No. I just laughed my head off some of the stuff he was coming out with. I was dying laughing. Anyway. Guys, what are you guys spamming for? Really? The lack of smell is the best thing about the internet. Yeah, when you can't see someone's feet. Of course I agree with constitutional carry. But some states we have to get a license to carry a handgun. Yeah, so we deal with that. I have a license to carry mine, but I believe in constitutional carry. Absolutely. It's our right. You had to bleach your eyes? Oh, God. Oh, that's right. You were playing music during that. Yeah, I forgot. Why do you want me to say that? Cabby, do you like feet? Why do I have to say that? Okay, Cabby likes feet. Are you guys going to clip that? Kodiak, are you clipping that? You're going to clip that. Oh my God, really? So you're going to clip this? Kodiak, tell me if you're going to clip it. Nat is going to clip it. Okay. Ready? Do you want this camera angle or do you want a different one? Let's see. Here we go. Do you want this camera angle? Okay, well, this is the better resolution, this camera angle, I think. Both? Okay. Cabby likes feet. Now we're going to do it from this camera angle. Cabby likes feet. You guys are bad. Okay. Deadpan straight to the camera. Oh, say it like I mean it. Oh, God, you guys have made this crazy stream fun tonight. What to do with a snake and a gun? Depends on how hungry you are. Say it with passion. Oh, that's funny. Cabby likes goose feet? No. Well, there, I just said it. Well, Hawk, you have more trolls than me? Oh, dude, it was bad in here earlier. There was a ton of them. What do you figure, guys? There was maybe 7 or 8 of them? Really, Braxton Jones? That's pretty sad. No, I mean, like I said, I kind of figured that was going to happen tonight. I kind of figured, you know, because like I said, I made it known in the chat last night that I was leaving and the reasons why. Yeah, Fred, it's kind of crazy. Well, I mean, like I said, and people tell us who we can be friends with on that stream. That goes both ways. Hey, Bandit. Thanks for stopping in, brother. Oh, God. Really, Natalia? Why do you want that? Okay, I'll say it. You asked me. I'm going to do it just for you, Natalia. Cabby sucks toes. Cam, it's the stream that you just got unbanned from. I am no longer going to be going to that stream. Don't want any part of it. Oh, God. The limit has been reached. I don't know what limit. You know, it's funny. Nimmer left and the trolls left. Unless he's still here. I don't know. Anybody know? Oh, no, he's still here. He's lurking. Well, he's not talking, so if he came on and started talking, that'd be the end of it. Hey, Care Bear. I don't know. Maybe. I get some of the good auditors in here. I don't normally get any of the bad ones. You know? It could be. Who knows? It's, you know, Hawk, I dealt with this when I did sports radio. All the time. Now, you have to understand, I did martial arts radio, I did ringside fight commentary, so I was constantly calling martial artists out on their crap. And when they didn't like it, they would call in, get mad, threaten me, whatever. So I'd be like, okay, well, martial artists, we have a different way of settling things. It was like, okay, if you have a problem with me, we'll just pick a dojo in Texas. I know most of the senseis, and I had mine too, but it was always good to do one in Dallas. So you'd pick a dojo, you come in, sign a waiver, and then you can tell me what an asshole I am in the ring. And no one, one time, one person took me up on it, and no one ever did it again. So I learned to just deal with things that way. If you got a problem with me and you want to be a keyboard warrior, we got places to meet. We can take care of that. And I've heard every freaking thing you can imagine, like, oh, you don't know me, I'll kick your ass, and this and that. And I'm like, look, buddy, I've been doing this crap for almost 40 years. I've been training my ass off. There's nothing you're going to throw at me that I haven't seen before. So put up or shut up. Show up, or everybody's just going to know you're a complete pussy. That's all. If you don't show up, you're a pussy. And like I said, one person showed up, and you send them home with, I just popped the neighbor's cat look on their face, and yeah. Oh, yeah, Fred. Let me tell you something. You're just as bad a Yankee as I am. Not a chance, Joshua. You'll win. I'll run from that. That's funny. Well, see, Fred's a scrapper, too. So, I know he'll actually get in the ring with me. Fred knows Scott, my old sparring partner. Yeah, we get bored, the gloves come off, and we just start popping each other. It really doesn't matter. What do you mean it was a video of him trolling an AM radio? Okay, guys, we're on an hour and a half, so I think it's probably time to shut this shindigo, shut it down, get it over with. So, yeah, because, it's 10:30. It's a good time to shut it down. So let's go ahead and get some music going. I can get my little jive going here. Yeah, it was a crazy stream tonight. We had some crank phone calls. We had some fun ones, It was cool. It's whatever. But, guys, remember. We're doing this. We have fun, You guys, if you want to support me, we really got the Patreon up and going. We've got some new stuff on there that you're not going to see anywhere else. You can find my Patreon in the notes. If you want to donate to me, you can do it through PayPal, but I have mugs you can buy. I would rather sell you a product than you just give me money. So you have that in there. That's also in the show notes. And like I said, I got Patreon ramping up, and the bigger it gets, I'm going to start putting more stuff in there, especially with the new computer system coming in. It's going to be here tomorrow. One of the fastest Macs out there right now. It's got 6 processors, 4.1 gigahertz, 32 gigs of RAM. It's screaming. It is going to be a screaming unit. I'm going to be able to do this at a higher resolution. So I'm pretty excited about that. So, yeah, you can support me there. Or just come in and hang out, man. If you send me some shekels, that's cool. I can deal with that. Yeah, I like shekels. Who doesn't? But, guys, I always say it. Demand your rights. Use your rights. Don't just scream about them at home. Go out and do them. Use them. Carry your gun. It's for protection. For your family. For everything. And make sure you're trained. Make sure you're trained tactically and physically. Learn retention. Most police officers, I'd say most, but probably 40% of them that get shot in the line of duty, it's by their own gun. So, you guys make sure you're carrying. Make sure you're trained. And if you got that all set and you got your, situational awareness and you know what's going on, you'll be able to protect yourself, your loved ones, and everybody else around you. God bless. Have a great evening.